One day when Georgie was out and Sienna was really young, so obviously sleeping all the time, and I watched that on my laptop and just burst out crying throughout because it was just horrific. But I made myself watch it. And I think the reason that I did was because I just experienced like seeing a life being born, obviously my own child, and it had really made a massive impact.
Hello and welcome to Uncut, live from our studio in Dubai. The audio and visual podcast show that gives you exclusive scoop on our guests and hot topics including some of your favorite celebrities. And now, let the fun begin. Here's your host, S1.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time it is for you. Welcome to the #1 audio and visual podcast show in the Middle East. And thank you for tuning in, guys. Woo. Today we have an awesome guests with us today. We have the adventurous Family Fizz in the studio. Members of the family include the youngest, 10 months old, Karma, Sienna, 7 years old, and Mia, 14 years of age, and the cool, fun parents, Georgie and Darren. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hi, thanks.
Have you been feeling the heat recently? Because it's getting hotter. I know Dubai is getting hotter.
We're acclimatizing a bit, but we keep hearing all the stories of like how it hurts to breathe through your nose in,
Right.
in the real middle of summer and stuff. Yeah.
We're almost there. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're almost there. You guys are based from the UK, and generally, like, that's home for you guys, right? Or because I know you guys travel so much. You moved to the US recently and then came now to Dubai. Is home still the UK? Or do you guys consider yourselves...
Home is the world,
Home is the world,
the
right?
universe. Yeah.
Wow. How does it feel traveling so much? Because it must be challenging. You guys have 3 beautiful kids. And we're going to get into all the details of the kids because each one is a character, we have to say, right? But does it become challenging?
There has been challenges, yeah. So it wasn't easy traveling, especially when we traveled with Carmen when she was a baby, because we left the UK when she was 3 months old and we went to the US to stay there for like a couple of months.
Right.
And that was quite hard because like babies don't sleep through the night. And then when we went into a new time zone, her sleep routine was like all messed up.
Completely off.
So when we wanted to sleep at nighttime, she didn't want to. So we I thought we were sleep deprived as it was, but adding that on top of it, we went a little bit crazy, didn't we?
Yeah, because by the time we wanted to go to sleep, then she was ready to party.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, and especially the US, right? That was like an extreme time change for you guys.
Yeah.
How's Dubai doing right now for you guys? How are you enjoying Dubai?
We love it.
Yeah, it's amazing here.
I know you guys wanted to leave before the summer, right?
Yeah.
Originally.
We got a bit too scared.
Right?
Yeah.
But is that from people just telling you and like warning you of the heat and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, generally Europeans and people from the UK and Germany and Europe, they love to come here during summer because they miss that heat, because of all the winter seasons and the rainy, the cloudy days in Europe. They love the heat. Is this something you guys enjoy too, the summer?
Yeah. I mean, in the UK, even when it's summertime, you like barely get a summer.
Right.
So it's so nice being here. And then every day it's sunny and it's warm and it's just amazing.
It's just reliable as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
So we had we were put off just by hearing people's stories, but then we were like, hang on, why don't we just experience it ourselves? Rather than like leaving and then never knowing. Like,
we want to experience.
We want the challenge.
Right?
Yeah.
And somebody did compare the summer here to like a winter in parts of the world where it can snow so much that you can't go outside. Some people can't even physically leave their homes. Like in New York, sometimes you can get snowed in.
Yes.
But here you can leave. You just obviously have to go in aircon, like a taxi or a car.
Which is pretty much everywhere here, right? I mean, the areas that you will probably be exposed to heat are for so short that you barely feel it. But I mean, summer does get hot, but I think climate change and everything Dubai's weather has changed too in general. I think the summers are not as bad as they used to be.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because when we arrived here, it was actually raining and it was really stormy. And I was walking back from school with Sienna and we got soaking wet. And I said,
Oh my God.
it's like we're back in England, Sienna.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that in Dubai. Like, you'd probably be confused. Are we here? Is this Dubai? Is this the desert that they were talking about? But yeah, Dubai's weather has changed in general. Talking about your family, I wanted to introduce the little ones. Basically, you guys have the youngest, which is almost 10 months now. I overheard.
She's 10 months now. Yeah,
10 months. Wow. Karma. And then we have Sienna, 7-year-old, and Mia, who's 14 years of age, right?
Yeah.
You guys have all girls. I know for Darren, this might be a challenge at times, or does it make it easier?
I mean, I don't have anything to obviously compare it to, but I assume that it's easier. Right. Certainly up until this point anyway, because I just feel like boys are just wild, aren't they? But girls are pretty chill. They just like play in their bedroom, but I think boys are going to be trying to peel the wallpaper off the walls and climb up everything. And yeah, so it's
do you guys gang up on him? Is there any times where you're like, girls, let's go against that or right now, or does that ever happen?
I feel like when it's going to happen is when all of the girls are teenagers, and then if like we all happen to sync at that time of the month, he may have to put up a lot of mood swings.
He might have to deal with a lot during that time.
Or just get a hotel booking. Yeah.
Might be more efficient. Do you Georgie, what is something that you feel like you lack? Is there anything you lack by just having girls? Is there, because girls are more, they get attached to the dad in general, right? So do you feel that? Do you miss out on that, or?
I can tell that the girls will take Darren's word, they'll respect him a lot more in the sense that when they'd rather him do something like, for instance, like drive, or I don't know, they kind of I am a little bit ditzy at times and clumsy. Yeah. So they trust Darren more than me in that respect.
Okay, so it helps out. You guys balance each other, right?
Yeah, we pretty much any decision we make, we try and discuss it all as a family anyway. Because we always say there's something to gain even from any age, even like Sienna's input. She'll often have a little bit of extra insight on something because she has a different view of the world, and it hasn't been tainted by other people's ideas and stuff because she's obviously younger. So,
I mean, Sienna, she has, she's a little genius. I mean, when I watch the vlogs, I'm shocked. She's so smart. She's so confident. How did you guys, is this something you guys raised her to be? Is this the way you guys acted, or did she just, is it TV? Is it the internet? What do you think, progresses a child to become on her level? Because she's a little genius.
I think, again, as I said, because we discuss everything as a family. Right. So there's not we're the adults, you're the children, so you don't have any say. Nice. I don't know, even decisions about traveling, where we want to go, what we want to experience, working on projects together. So anything what we've got coming up, we try and discuss it, and
we're quite open with each other and close in that sense. Me and Darren, we do obviously have our adult conversations, but with things where it involves the whole family, we will let them join in, get them involved. Yeah, but we obviously have the sole responsibility, but it's just, we've always just been quite close like that, haven't we?
I think probably being vegan helps with it as well, because often we're faced with moral decisions. Okay. So we'll discuss those all together and what do we think is the best decision in this situation, that type of thing. So that's probably part of what's made Sienna have quite good insight into the world and its workings and that type of thing.
That's amazing. And when you say, because you mentioned we have our adult conversations, does it become challenging in a concept like that? Because obviously, you guys, I don't think you have a maid, right? There's no help at home. There's no nanny. So when do you get time for yourselves?
This is hopefully what Dubai is going to help us with. Because of the like culture here, what we've seen where people do seem to have a lot of help, and like for us it was a little bit of a different thing, something which we weren't necessarily used to, probably just because of the way we've grown up in quite poor families and that type of thing. And so now it's like a feasible option for us. We are now seeing, right, we don't really have much family or friends to help us out with things, so you know, why can't we have someone help us out? So that is actually something what we are looking into.
You're considering it.
Yeah. Initially it felt like a bit of a, I don't know, like alien concept to us, but now we've come around to the idea, and we can see like you're employing someone, you're giving them a good quality of life, and then they become like part of the family and help out with some things.
I feel like we'd be way more productive as well. We've spoke about it. It's not just so that me and Darren can just do nothing and be completely lazy, you know. It's like we actually need that help, and sometimes there's been lots of situations where we've both felt overwhelmed, and like we don't necessarily have to feel like that.
Totally, and that's back to my question, was like, when do you guys make time for yourselves? Because thinking of it right now, I assume you guys are struggling with that, you know? Because any parent with 3 kids and no help, I mean, and your kids are young. You have a 10-month-old, a 7-year-old, and then a 14-year-old. So they're young. They need your full attention. So I definitely, I think that's going to help you guys, right? And is this something you're planning in the near future?
Yeah, we've been talking about it, and as a whole family as well, involving the girls.
That's awesome.
And I think that we're going to look into it. And
what do the girls think? Is that something they're like shying away from, or?
Sienna seems excited.
She's
excited about everything.
I don't think Sienna. I don't think Mia really minds. She's cool about it. And then obviously baby comer, she won't understand, but I feel like she may have to get used to the maid or the nanny. I feel like at first, because she's very sociable, and she'll smile and wave at people and talk to them in her baby talk. But if somebody else holds her for more than like 30 seconds, she starts to freak out. Yeah,
because I feel like obviously babies have that instinct of who's family and who's not, you know?
It's not necessarily like parenting what we want help with. It's more like you know, we always try to think what is best use of our time. Like, where can we put our time most productively?
Right.
And so like washing up and ironing at this stage in life, even though at one point that was our most productive use of our time, right now we've got an option where it cannot be the best use of our time, you know, so we're better off working on projects which we want to work on and then having some help with that.
Congrats on getting married, guys.
Oh, thank you.
I know it's been recently, right? How long ago was that? It was like 2 months ago? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we've been putting off for so long, just because we wanted it to be like perfect.
And did you feel like it went perfect? Because I watched the vlog and it was a very emotional, very cute, very simple wedding. I wouldn't say you guys went crazy with it, but it was beautiful. And I personally enjoy weddings like that way more than the crazy ones, you know? But was it everything you wanted? Yeah,
it was amazing. When I look back on that day, like I just feel like crying. I kind of wish I could live that again. That was so nice. Like Darren planned the whole wedding, which I'm so thankful for.
And it was in Vegas, guys. It was in Vegas.
It was in Arizona, but kind of in Vegas, because we flew in the helicopter to the Grand Canyon, which was in Arizona.
Oh, nice.
So it's like half in Vegas and half in Arizona.
That's crazy. And was it, because I know you were pregnant and you said you didn't want to have the wedding until after you gave birth. The reason being, I'm assume being in shape. You wanted to be in shape for the wedding, and going to Vegas, the States, doing it. What was the reason behind it? Were you guys just living there anyways, and then you decided to, you know, have it there, or was there a reason? Was there a story behind going to Arizona, the Grand Canyon?
No, we weren't living there. We went there intentionally to get married. We wanted, so it's a bit of like this thing of where something a bit crazy, but something in nature as well.
Right.
So I done a lot of research and I really wanted it to be something outside. So originally I was looking at Denmark because you can have outdoor weddings there. But then because it was freezing cold there, it was like 2 degrees at that time of year. So then I was looking at other places where it's relatively easy to get married as well.
Right.
And just where we could have something which kind of suited us.
He did like hours of research on this.
It's
And I was being a
crazy.
bit resistant, still like, I was going, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. I feel really bad about that. I think you like nearly cried one night. You're like, I'm trying my best.
I'm doing my best. Give me a
But
break.
It was just because of like what you said. I wanted it to be perfect that
Yeah.
I was like not going for it. And I wanted, because I'm now feeding Carmen myself, I just wanted to like not be like, you know, feeding or being
Right.
pregnant and that. But in the end, we talked about it and then we realized, let's just do it now because we're never ever going to end up doing it.
And you guys were together for how long before you guys got married?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was prolonging, right? Like
Yeah.
it was due about time, right?
Yeah. I mean, with like every other decision we've made in life, we've always said like, don't wait until things are perfect to do it, because otherwise you never achieve anything.
Right.
You know, you're always like, oh, just when that is right, when that's right. And then we're like, hang on, why do we keep waiting until things are perfect for this then?
Yeah.
So
I mean, when we first met each other, we weren't really that bothered about being married. Like we didn't feel like we had to be married.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like Darren wasn't mine properly because we weren't. But then
There was no pressure.
no, but as we've been together, we've like grown and evolved. And like towards the end of it, we were actually like, that will be a really special thing to do, weren't we?
Yeah.
We just thought, yes, we would like to do that.
It's just like completing the package, right? It's like you guys had everything else, and this was just another piece of it, you know, that would
Yeah.
make it complete, I think. It's amazing. I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you.
The video was
Thanks.
awesome. It was emotional, I have to say. It was very emotional. Even though, like, because you guys have this, you're able to attract people. Like your personalities, each one is so individual, so unique. And with just watching your stuff, you know, and your audience, everyone is so connected to you guys. And I think that's amazing. Do you have fans that come up to you and are like, you know, we can't imagine our lives without you guys? Is that like a common thing?
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
often
we've always
have-
like
yeah.
life-changing stories.
And that's amazing. Did you ever think you would be in this place? Like, did you guys think we're going to be this YouTube family that will get millions and millions of views? You guys have over 360 million combined views on one channel. Mind you, that's one channel, which is the Family Fizz channel, your main channel. That's crazy. I mean, that's a lot of people watching.
Well, I don't think we ever knew it would end up being this way, but I can remember when I first ever met Darren and we started dating, I was like, I knew that we were going to do something big together. And I could just
Wow.
tell, but I didn't know what it was going to be because like when we first met each other, our lives weren't in a very good place. And then we've achieved so much since. Like, it's just amazing. But I didn't like think we're going to do YouTube. I don't think that YouTube even really existed that much. I don't know. I didn't really
Yeah,
use
well,
YouTube
it
then.
It,
Yeah.
it just wasn't part of our lives. I don't
No,
think.
no,
So,
but
yeah.
we've now ended up doing it, and I feel so great that we get to like hopefully inspire others and make them smile as well with what we've done. That's like the biggest part of it, like what you just said, when people come up to us or they
Yeah.
comment and say that we've changed their lives, that actually, like at the end of the day, that's kind of what's really important.
Yeah, because I've seen so many people comment on your stuff saying, you know, you inspire me, and it's 90% positive, which is incredible. You know, it's a very hard thing to have a lot of positivity online, especially because it's so easy to hate, right?
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
people, it's just so easy to hate. But it's not easy on the other side to leave a good comment, to say something nice about someone else. So a lot of these people, like when I see that, it's a clear indication of you guys and how nice you guys are and how real you keep it on your channel. How did it feel for the girls watching their parents get married?
Oh, I think they loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren made a joke and said it was a bit of a therapy session because
It was, yeah.
we all started crying and hugging. I think we really got to bond after that experience because the girls were also there when Karma was born, and then they got to see us get married. I feel like we've gone through some really special things together,
Yeah.
which usually children don't get to experience. So we've done it a bit like backwards, back to front.
Right. Yeah.
But as a
But it was
result,
cool, right?
that was a good experience for us, and doing it that way, it turned out well.
You know what's incredible? Karma's story. So basically you gave birth at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So tell me about this. I want to know more.
Well, I never originally set out to have a home birth. Main reason for that is because with Mia and Sienna, after I had delivered them, I experienced really heavy bleeding to the point where the doctors
Okay.
would come rushing in. They're really worried that I'd lose a lot of blood. And
Oh
then
my God.
also not being in a hospital sounded terrifying as well, because I felt like I needed to be in a hospital to feel safe and for it to all be okay.
Right.
But as the pregnancy continued, I started reading and researching and just like reading loads of pregnancy books. But then I came across some books which were more about natural childbirth, which means you kind of do it in a more of a natural way that nature intended, was so without drugs and pain relief, and kind of letting the mother be in control rather than her feeling like she's not in control of the situation.
Okay.
And that really inspired me. And then, but I still wanted to have a hospital birth, just because that's like what most people expect. But then it wasn't until we went to one midwife appointment, my usual midwife wasn't there, and it was a replacement, and she assumed that I was having a home birth, and she said to me, "You're going to have a home birth, are you?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." Oh, she's like, "Oh, okay then." And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "I'm worried about this and that." And then it was just, the conversation ended. But then it like sparked a
thought.
I was like,
right?
well, why don't I? Why aren't I having a home birth? I started to question it. So I spoke to you about it, and initially you were freaked out. You were worried.
just
He's
for the
worried about my
safety
well-being.
aspect, yeah.
But then we spoke it through with the midwife, and she said I had to sign a form just in case because I was technically a high-risk pregnancy to have
Right.
it. Because they said you could experience some bleeding. And if you do, then you may have to go to the hospital, have a drug to stop it at home. But I had this feeling in me. I was like, well, I thought about, why have I experienced this negative thing after giving birth? I feel like it's maybe because I'm in a hospital and it's made the labours really long and slow, and it's just like kind of like being a bit like.
Right.
So I've had this feeling. I was like, if I'm at home where I feel familiar and like safe, and I'm there at home and stuff, and I feel more in control, I feel like I'll be able to do this, and nothing will happen. And as a result, the birth went amazingly. I didn't experience any bleeding.
Wow.
It was over in 6 hours rather than like the 14 to 24 hours. Like it was, I just felt it's
crazy.
amazing. Like what I learned is that when you are relaxed when you give birth, you release loads of oxytocin, which like allows the birth to go quicker and flow much better. And yeah, it was really amazing. So I'm so glad I found out about that. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know.
Do you encourage it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right. How did it feel for you, like being a part and seeing it, you know, especially since you were worried from the safety aspect? Were you still like shaking when she was giving birth, or were you calmed down, or how was the feeling for you?
So during the pregnancy, Georgie was reading loads of books. And so then she would give me like a summary of what she had learned from those books, like each evening when we're going to sleep, tell me about it. So she was kind of educating me on the whole process as well. So I already knew what was going to be coming. So my mind was already like put at ease quite well. And then just during the actual birth, it was just completely life-changing. It was just completely unlike a hospital situation, just because, I don't know, it just felt so much more natural. It was just crazy. Like you're really able to be present in the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's an incredible story, guys. I'm so happy that it went well and it was a good experience, you know. You guys move a lot of houses. What's the story behind this? Why do you guys always move? Is it just inspirational? I read somewhere on your last vlog, you had someone tell you you're criminal geniuses.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the story? What is the truth behind all this? Like, why move so much? Because it is stressful, right? I mean, it's not like it's an easy process moving into a different country every single time.
We haven't necessarily moved to a different country every time, but we've kind of adopted the philosophy of say yes to every opportunity.
Okay.
And so we try and let that guide us. And then again, we just talk things through. And we now live in furnished places. So we don't really own much. Everything we own fits in a suitcase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we can move really easily. So it's not actually stressful.
So like when we lived in England, for instance, we'd rent places. So there weren't houses that we'd bought. And
Furnished
we'd like
places.
to rent
Yeah.
them usually for 6 months, because what's really nice is that after 6 months, if you feel like it, you can leave and like rent another place out. And so as a result of that,
Right.
we've like got to stay in lots of different houses and homes.
And experience different
Yeah,
cities.
and then we really like that, because sometimes like if you commit to you buy a house, then like you might be tied to that place for ages, like really difficult to get up
Right.
again and sell. And we just like having that freedom as a family to not feel tied down by like the traditional ways that most people tend to get tied down by. I mean, for some people that they like a bit more
Right.
to be more rooted, but we've just enjoyed this opportunity we've had lately to be able to travel, to meet people across the world, to make videos wherever we are. It's been really good fun, and the girls have enjoyed it as well.
So when you say the girls, like, how does it go with school? Because obviously, like, changing school every 6 months is almost like impossible, or if every few months, or a year. How do you guys do it with the school?
So we stayed in Brighton for 2.5 years in the UK. And so it was just one school while we were there. But then now we've come to Dubai, and we found another school for Sienna, which she already done like a test run of back in January. So she went there for a month in January just to try it out, and then she really likes it. So
Sienna is in school as we speak right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is.
And Mia is in the other room taking care of Karma. Mia's doing homeschool now?
Yeah.
How's that going for her?
she has online tutors.
Okay.
So she can basically just do it wherever she's got an internet connection.
Okay.
And so she just does the basics of that. But we kind of encourage her to like follow her passions. So whatever she wants to do projects on, which basically she's like building a social media business as well. So that is kind of what her interests are. But that covers a lot of things anyway. You know, she's learned graphic design, she's learned video editing, she's learned like so many different things as a result of that anyway, which can obviously cross over into other lines of work. But then she does the basics with a tutor as well.
And is that like her plan B, the graphic design and the artwork and those stuff? Like if ever something was not to go well with, you know, social media, or because we don't really know the future of social media. So is that her plan B? Is this something you guys, because a lot of parents would probably be like, you know, social media is great, but what are these parents doing to protect their children and give them a future, you know, in case something was to go wrong?
Of course. I think what it develops in you is like an entrepreneurial mindset. So you're looking for things which, number one, you feel passionate about, and then number two, which obviously a market somewhere out there wants. So we all feel quite creative and we have a lot in us. So for instance, like the plan B doesn't necessarily have to be Mia working for somebody else, which of course it certainly can be, but she's, for instance, about 90% done with writing a book right now.
Wow.
Which she's done all of her own accord. Obviously she shows it to us and we go through it and gradually help her like flesh out the chapters a little bit. But so I mean,
incredible.
you know, add author to the list if you want.
Yeah. That's amazing. See, that's what I feel like personally. This is again a personal opinion. And I personally feel like there's two ways of being smart. And I'll call it street smart, and then you have the general educational smart. And I think a healthy combination is when you have a little bit of both, you know, because a lot of times what ended up happening was me personally, I feel like a lot of people in school were really good in school, but then didn't have any, you know, street experience or general outside world, real life experiences. Where you guys are focusing on the real life experiences, which is not like you're, you know, in a fantasy world and then you get thrown into the real world. Yeah. Which I think is a lot of support and help for these kids. And the younger they start, the less mistakes when they're older, right? Yeah. I think they do all their mistakes when they're younger. And that's kind of what happened to me. I started working when I was 10. So,
I mean, I think it depends what line of work you want to go into, but certainly for a lot of lines of work nowadays, I don't think they are solely reliant on the credentials which you've got. I think more hands-on experience. Like for instance, anybody that we work with, you know, any graphic designers, video editors, etc. We don't say, can you show us, you know, your degree first. We're just like, show us your work.
Right.
And then, you know, we'll figure things out from there.
I think, like you said, it's the line of work you're in the entertainment, in the social media world, you can't be a doctor without a degree.
Of course,
but you
yeah.
can do a lot of the entertainment side and social media side, and which is a huge industry for itself. You guys took a big decision a few years ago, and that was to go vegan as a family. How was that, and why did you guys go vegan?
So
Because I know being vegan, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And you guys wrote a book about it. You had a book, it was called Vegan Fitness 7-Day Plan. And it was quite successful. And then you started on YouTube with a vegan channel, right?
Yeah.
So I want to hear about this because this is really interesting. Like, how did you guys get into this?
Okay, it's a long story. We'll try and make it short.
You started off the whole vegan thing, didn't you? So
Well, so Georgie was pregnant with Sienna, and she was getting put off eating eggs, drinking milk, having like minced meat. Like
he didn't make me, but you were buying meat for me to make the meals with, and it was just making me really just grossed out. I just didn't like the smell or the look of it at all.
Yeah, and so I was quite resistant to the idea. We were having these like vegetarian products, which I wasn't really into, like vegetarian mincemeat or like soya milk. And I'm like, what is this fake milk? Like I thought it was all like space food. It didn't really appeal to me.
Right.
But then, so during the pregnancy, Georgie was like put off animal products more and more. And then it was after Sienna was born, and I had a documentary on my computer, which I've been meaning to watch, which was called Earthlings.
Okay.
And so one day when Georgie was out and Sienna was really young, so obviously sleeping all the time, and I watched that on my laptop and just burst out crying throughout because it was just horrific. But I made myself watch it. And I think the reason that I did was because I just experienced like seeing a life being born, obviously my own child, and it had really made a massive impact. And so it like made me aware, rather than like everyone tries to forget about death, like we're not going to die, just focus on the day, etc. So I think I'd done that about the foods which we were eating as well. And then that really opened up my eyes. And then when Georgie came home, I told her about it, and it was almost like she was just like, yes, like she'd been waiting for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so so all I done was just told her what happened in it, and then she's like, yeah, that's cool. But then, like, that's cool that we'll make that decision. But then obviously we're like, right, we've got children. Can this be done healthily with children? So then that started like really obsessive research. It was a new chapter in our lives because we were like becoming healthy as well. And so we really started researching it, and then discovered actually it can be good for kids. Well, in fact, some would argue more healthy for all stages of life than its counterpart.
Yeah.
So then that started from there.
Did you guys like kind of force it on the kids, or was it like an optional decision, or was it just a part of their lifestyle? Because now the parents are vegan, so we're not going to be cooking anything else, no meat, no this.
So we only bought vegan products from that moment on. Sienna was literally newborn, so obviously she doesn't know what's going on. And, Mia was she like 6?
I don't know.
6?
Yeah. Probably, 6. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I think she was 6. So again, we discussed it with her. I mean, to be honest though, the way you present it to a child is not that complicated. It's just like, here's a burger which is made out of a cow. Here's a burger what tastes identical, but it's not made out of a cow, so a cow didn't die. And then they're like, okay.
So I think she was fine about it. And I made sure to begin with that I researched loads of alternatives. So, children love those white chocolate buttons. I made sure to get the vegan versions. And when we first went vegan, there were vegan alternatives and products, but not as many as there is now. So I feel like if we were to have gone vegan now, it would have been crazy, wouldn't it?
Now it's insane.
Yeah.
Now you got everything. As
everywhere,
like vegans don't miss out on anything.
No.
I tried going vegan, but it was like really challenging for me. It's just because of culturally, like we're so used to meat, and you grow up. It was a challenge, but I felt really like it was like a detox for my body.
Yeah.
I felt good, no bloating, no nothing,
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Everyone says that. Yeah.
I always have that. And every now and then I become like a vegan for a bit just to like kind of detox my body, So I definitely know that it does good for you. Do you guys feel like the kids? Has Sienna ever tried meat or no?
I don't think she would. I
She
think
would- she
no, that's
wouldn't.
the last thing that she'd ever want to do.
Sienna's the most hardcore vegan out of all of us.
Are
Just-
you serious?
Oh yeah, for definite. Because that is her life. Like she just can't
That's
even
all she knows.
fathom
Yeah.
why anybody would eat or drink an animal product when there's no need to. Like it just blows her mind.
Yeah, it's a lovely seeing that like purity in her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Her like, I don't know. She's just got such a beautiful mind and heart. Like,
And I know that there's a lot of other benefits too. I don't know if you like skin and better
it's
hair.
Probably our only potential for saving planet Earth as well.
Right?
Pretty big one.
Yes. Guys, save the earth and all means. If you're gonna be a vegan, with plastic, whatever it is, we got, today's world is crazy. I mean,
I actually saw something on Instagram people were sharing though yesterday, and 50% of the plastic in the ocean is from fishing nets. So
oh my God.
cutting out plastic straws is a good move, but I didn't know that though. I just thought that was amazing. But it's
That's
actually fishing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Look at it. You don't expect that, that's them trying to get food. So
But I do think that things are overall like really optimistic right now though, because there's so many, like we were talking about like an entrepreneurial spirit. I see there's so many people in the world who are seeing problems and they're coming up with amazing solutions. So,
Yeah.
I think we live in an amazing time right now.
And I'm really
do.
happy that I like that veganism is trendy and fashionable now.
Yes.
Some people think some vegans like can get a bit like offended by that, and I can kind of see why, maybe because they really they feel really passionate about it and they don't want it to be a trend. But I feel like even if people just tried it like once a week or they dipped in and out of it, I feel like that's better than everybody like not knowing what veganism is and it being like this really taboo thing. So I'm happy with the way it's going in that respect.
Are you like the guys that would come on a table with friends, and if some friends are having meat, you're like,
No. I really don't.
Sienna will.
Well, one time we were eating dinner with like our grandparents and they were tucking into like a big lump of meat. And but because she's never had it before, she actually sees that in a different way than what you do or I do. Because I have eaten meat before. Obviously, I haven't been vegan my whole life.
Yeah.
So I don't really get that like upset about seeing meat.
Right. But
Like-
she went crazy.
I think it's that thing of like, we all have a disassociation to it. Whereas she really makes the connection. So that's why to her, it's just like, mate, there's a cow on your plate. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's exactly like that's a life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Who started the idea of vlogging and the family? Whose idea was it?
I feel
So
like it was probably you, Darren.
It was
because you're the internet
originally
one.
a blog where
Okay.
because we started running. And so we were just doing like race reports of our running races
And sharing recipes.
and recipes.
Yeah.
So as we were learning, we were kind of like sharing what we'd learned so far.
Okay.
They're probably so cringe though. So those blog posts, looking back on them.
I'm
then-
sure it was the early stages.
Yeah.
Right?
Then it evolved into it being videos like of recipes, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then I guess, I don't know when like the very first, I think Mia did a video first, didn't she, of her apple crumble
Yeah,
recipe?
I think Mia made the first ever YouTube video, but that was
Yeah.
on her channel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I think it's still on her channel right now. And she looks so tiny and her voice is squeaky. It's so weird.
Looking
Yeah.
back at it,
Yeah.
right?
And
It's a
it
bit
was 'cause
fuzzy.
we didn't know how to edit or anything. So it was
Yeah.
literally all in one take as well.
Oh.
It's just one long scene.
Like she's standing
She
there
did
waiting
so well.
waiting for them to cook and the crumble.
You have
She's
to
just
wait for
standing
the
there.
That's amazing. Who does the editing in the family? Like,
So I did it because we were daily. We don't make daily videos anymore.
right.
But I did it for the first year so 365 days before it completely destroyed me.
Wow.
And pretty much had a breakdown, and then taught Georgie because
Yeah.
I just learned from tutorials anyway. So
Right.
that would obviously really lengthen the process because I'm like, right, I've got 50 minutes of footage, what I've got to turn into a 20-minute video, but I also want to make it as fancy as possible. So instead of that taking me 5 hours, it was taking me 10 because I'm watching tutorials while I'm doing it to try and work out how to add these extra effects,
He was up all, like, obviously we're filming in the day and then getting on with like usual life stuff, but then he'd be up all night editing as well. Like you just basically got no sleep.
Yeah. But then
Wow.
so
I
then
didn't really get to see him much.
after it finally destroyed me, then
I volunteered.
Georgie
like-
did it for a year.
I will help.
Yeah, I thought and I also thought he's up really late at night, but if because the thing is he had to get on with like non-editing work and then he had to edit, and I thought, well, if I want to spend time with him and not like run down into the ground, if I edit in the
Right.
evening while he's getting on with the work, then we could
Then-
hopefully get to bed at a decent time.
And
So
that worked out.
yeah, so you taught me how to do a bit of the editing, but then it ended up me really enjoying it. I love doing all the cuts and adding effects in. But then after a year of doing that myself, nearly a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then it started to break me down. Like I just broke out with acne on my chin
Oh
from
my
stress,
God.
and like having to film in the day and then do all the mum
Yeah,
stuff
stress.
and then edit all evening. That got too much. Man, it's just crazy that when you get to the end of the day, then you've got to like actually sit there for hours on end, going
then-
through everything what happened. It started to be like,
Yeah. it's
I'm
a
not
lot.
saying I'm glad that we put that effort in because we wouldn't be where we are today.
Right.
But it got too much in the end. But then it wasn't until we started trying for a baby that we thought, well, Georgie, we can't be editing and
Right.
me being pregnant and have a baby, you know. So
We started
yeah.
trying to build a team at that point. So
Okay,
now we
great.
work with editors, we work with graphic designers. So we
Perfect.
kind of oversee the projects and
Okay.
But
we
it was
say
hard
what we
though
want.
to get help. It's so weird. I feel like a lot of YouTubers are like this. They don't want to hand that over to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you feel like
Yeah.
only you can only
have that
craft that
vision,
story
right.
yourself. So it's very hard to let that go. So it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't like we're like, oh, just like like
Yeah.
we even like debated a lot about getting an editor for months, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
it
like,
wasn't an
Georgie, we
easy
need help.
decision.
And I was so resistant, but I'm so glad that we've got that help now. And it's really nice to have a team. You've got some support.
Right.
And like you can just take that, like they can do a really good job at editing and we can do a good job at creating the content.
Right. You can focus on being the most important thing, which is being the content creators, right?
Yeah.
It gives you that room. Do you guys have any conditions on filming? Is there like, kids, you can't do this, you can't say that? Or is there any filters that a list of, conditions or filters that you have?
Do you mean like swearing? We don't
Don't
swear anyway.
not swearing. I mean, in general, like it could be anything. Whether if the kids wanna vlog, if Mia says I wanna go out to a vlog on my own, is there any conditions to her vlog? Can she decide to bring in a boy, or for instance, or can she? I'm sure there's some conditions.
I
right?
feel like we kind of just take it one step at a time. So when something comes up, then we deal with it then. So there's been some things we've filmed back in the past that we probably won't do so much now, or
Right.
like, and
I feel like you've said to her lately about she couldn't wear something. Like
Yeah.
she's planning a video and you said you can't wear that.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I feel like she's copying other girls' thumbnails, and it was
Oh.
about making herself look older. But then the people she were looking up to were much older than her, and I said it's really
Okay.
inappropriate if you pose like that in the thumbnail.
Right.
But she was just going into creator mode. I want to make the best thumbnail ever.
Yeah.
But I was like, Mia, you can't do that.
Right.
Like, so sometimes
Yeah,
she gets a bit
sometimes
carried
there's-
away. I can remember when I was her age, sometimes I wanted to wear like these really grown up shoes.
Right.
And it's completely innocent. I just want to be grown up. But my mum's like, you can't do
Yeah,
that. Like, I don't think she meant to be like that. But
I think it's just she doesn't think that, she doesn't know what the people are going, how they're going to
Yeah.
react. You might have a more adult point of view and you can stop her from negative reactions,
yeah.
How's that in general? Do you guys get, like, we talked about this a little bit, but love versus hate, like online, how's it? Because I know your comments are disabled on YouTube.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Is that something from YouTube? Is it
That
because
is
you have
YouTube, yeah.
kids?
I think it's because we've got kids in
Right.
the videos. Yeah, they've started it about 2 months ago. They've done it to the majority of family channels on YouTube. I think it's because they're having a little bit of a argument with advertisers, where advertisers won't pay for ads on videos which have got children in.
Okay.
So obviously YouTube still want to get paid, so they block the comments.
I think it also helps with like online bullying and stuff, right? Like for the kids, because obviously they're gonna go read through the comments at some point and then read some comments and kids, it gets to them at times, even though as professional as they may be, at some point they're still kids. So
Yeah.
Our kids don't read the comments, but I know that because we do some jokey videos sometimes. We've done some reacting to hate comments.
Yeah.
And like some of the ones you think it's like just some fake troll account, but it actually is a 6-year-old leaving you a hate comment.
And
then
they
we're
have like their own YouTube
yeah,
channel.
and then we're like, wow.
that's crazy.
yeah.
And I can't believe that their parents are like allowing them to like comment at that age, because I know for a fact Sienna wouldn't be.
But also just to know
Yeah.
that they feel that frustrated with life, even at that age, that they're going out of their way to like
To go
say
and
something.
comment.
Yeah. So we
saying
try and
that,
have
yeah.
empathy for people on the other side.
But saying that, we do have like any words which are inappropriate blocked.
Right.
So we do have that. I just don't
Yeah.
know why YouTube doesn't just do that
Do
in
that
general.
standard.
In general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good, rather than like, you know, because it's nice having the comment section for community feel there.
Right. I mean, in general, I think for you guys, generally for you guys, it's a lot of positivity. But
Yeah.
I mean, hate always is a part of it, right?
Yeah, we
You
do get
guys are in the-
criticism.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're in the limelight. You guys do have good thumbnails, but sometimes controversial ones, right? So it's normal that you're gonna evoke like reaction by the people. You know, you're gonna get reactions. You're gonna get all kinds of reactions. So that's just a part of it.
I think people, like, there's two choices. People can either try and look to pick faults in others to make themselves feel better, or they can look for people to feel inspired by and then try and better their lives that way.
Right.
So I think when you feel a bit hopeless, then it's just that thing where it's like, oh, let's cast some criticism on someone. Just like it's pretty, and that's what sells anyway, isn't it? You know, that's
Right.
That's what does newspapers and everything. Like, it's
Right.
people want the negativity, don't they?
That's true. You guys your videos are always positive in general. You don't show much of arguments, struggles. Obviously that you have those days. Is there a reason you don't want to show that?
I mean, if you're having an argument, you don't think I'm going to pick up the
Yeah.
camera and record
Yeah.
it.
Right?
Usually, like, if we're like got a video to focus on and making, we don't like argue, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, we're making
Right.
it. We sometimes can get a bit like stressed or like, but it's just, we don't really think to like vlog that. Like, we always want our content to be inspiring, but
Right.
I just feel like we're focused on making the video that we wouldn't.
Has
Yeah,
there
it
been-
doesn't enter my head like to do that, if that makes sense.
Has there been days where you started filming a vlog and then halfway go cancel the vlog because of an argument or something? You know, has that happened?
Yes, but it'll be because of the video itself. So
Okay.
it's not something unrelated, but yeah, loads of times where we
Yeah.
just the stress, just the pressure of like, because we have like hold a lot of pressure on ourselves to try and make the best that we can. Like anything we
Right.
do, we want to do it to the best of our abilities. And
Yeah.
if we feel like we're lacking in something what we're doing, then yeah, it can get
The
challenging.
amount of
and
times
then
we've been filming a video
we've
and
had a
stuff has
meltdown,
gone
yeah.
wrong. Like, we've had all stuff planned and then we turn up and it's not open, or something that's not working, or the
Right.
camera's turned off halfway through.
Yeah.
But they're not things that really fit within that video we're filming, so it wouldn't make
So-
sense to include it. And then I feel like once we made a video and we saw something bad happened to us, didn't it? And we made a video about it, but we felt so rubbish afterwards. It didn't feel good, because once you've finished a video and you've made it, and it's like you've put loads of effort, and you feel really satisfied afterwards, and you feel really positive, and you feel really good. But once we've done some videos where we have like said about something bad happened to us, I felt like it attracted more of that.
yeah.
Oh.
So
And
I
we want to
feel
put
like-
good energy out into
Yeah,
the world.
I
don't
feel
we?
like we
the
wanna put
negativity
good.
was attracting more negativity.
So people, if they want to see some negative things happen to us, I don't think that's a good idea for them to see that, because they're just watching something negative, and then they're just like, you know, like that,
Yeah.
the vibe that you've got going on, or the vibe you give out. I feel like we don't want to push that onto people.
Do you believe in the evil eye?
What do you mean?
No, I haven't heard of that.
No? Okay, so basically, you know how there's comes from different cultures believe in it. They have that blue eye, and it's like a Turkish people believe in it, like the Middle Eastern. It's an evil eye where they say if you do something, people get jealous or something, and they can hit you with the evil eye, where something bad will happen to you.
Okay.
And that's from jealousy and from people's people saying, for example, oh, the Fizz family is always happy, always good, and then something bad happens to you, and then that's because that person, you know, it's like an evil eye.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like
I mean, we try and be straight up with people though. So
Yeah.
no, I don't necessarily
Yeah.
think we believe in the evil eye, but
Right.
we try and uplift people and we try and bring people on the journey with us. It's not like, you know, here's what we're doing and we don't care what you're doing. It's like,
Right.
it doesn't matter at what stage you are and whatever your goals or dreams are. It's just as long as you're focusing on getting better and improving.
One question I have, very important one. Not a lot of people would name their child Karma. What's the story behind that? Karma Oak.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk first or something?
Yeah, we went through like every list of name what we could think of. We wanted it to be something powerful, something which suits the like state, because like it's a really big deal naming a human being. Like It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's way more than just naming a pet or something, isn't it? But yeah, if it just feels like the right name to us, and it's really
Yeah.
powerful, really pretty.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
A name does define personality, right? Like your character as you grow up eventually, like I feel like it makes it leaves a big impact on that person. Karma is a beautiful name. It's not a very common name, but it does have two meanings to it, right? Like there's the meaning of karma, the literal meaning. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like that affects her or would affect her in a negative way? Because karma could affect someone in a negative way or in a positive way, you know, but generally it's in a negative way.
When we named her Karma, we only thought of the positive, and I feel like that in a way, if some people choose to see her name in a negative way, then hopefully she might be able to like challenge that in a way just by her name being what it is.
Right.
Does that
So
make sense?
I think that's a reflection of people's perspective on life as well, where they're like, oh yeah, the bad things you do are going to come back to you, but we're like the good things we do
Yeah.
are going to come back to
it
us.
doesn't
So-
in our
Right.
head that it will
Yeah.
ever be perceived in a bad way at all. And I feel like
Right.
Karma's going to not be living an ordinary life. I think she's either going to be like such a free spirit, like backpacking and exploring the world, which would
Right.
obviously really suit Karma, or she's
Yeah.
just going to be doing something so amazing and being influenced people that it will really suit her having an unusual name.
Right.
I feel like for some people, if they live more, say, an ordinary life, perhaps calling their child a quite a far out name, that probably would be a little bit risky, if that makes sense. But I
Right.
don't see her doing anything ordinary. So I think it's gonna suit her so much that
I have
That's all.
actually read some stuff about this though, that now we're living in like quite a time of abundance, and overall people have really good lives. So people are being more adventurous with the names that they call their
Yeah.
children. Whereas when times are quite difficult, then people go for more reserved names for their children.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Oh, I never
actually.
considered that.
Yeah, I only
was
read
just
it the other
thinking
day.
about that. Yeah. So another question, you guys, what can we expect from Family Fizz, and what's coming up? I know. Do you guys have merchandise? Is that something you guys are thinking of? Because I know you did a few T-shirts every now here and
Yeah.
then, but do you have official merchandise?
We started a clothing brand called Treasure Others, which was just all about like inspiring positive vibes within
Yeah.
people. But we did it the way which like every YouTuber does it, which is where they use off the shelf clothing. Admittedly, we were using eco brands, so all of our stuff was environmentally friendly, but it's just off the shelf clothing. You get it printed. But we wanted to go back to the drawing board and make something from scratch. So we've actually been working with designers and factories for the last 4 months,
Oh,
where we're
nice.
making an entirely like eco-friendly
All custom made.
Wow.
clothing
And
line.
things that will fit really, really well, especially for females. Because sometimes
That's
like
awesome.
standard merchandise can sometimes be a bit unflattering.
Right.
For girls.
Yeah.
For guys, I think they fit a bit better, but on a female frame. So we're
Yeah.
working on, because every time we've brought out merch, it's always had like a theme, there's been a collection, like we've had Be Yourself, and then what were the other ones?
Treasure Others.
Treasure Others. So
Oh,
the next one,
nice.
it's going to have another motivational feel.
Like theme to it.
Yeah, we
right.
want it to be like cool, have a bit of attitude, like streetwear, but then like really positive and motivational. So
That's awesome.
yeah, we feel really excited. I know it's been ages since the last launch,
Yeah.
It takes a long while. Keep
Yeah.
getting
Of
samples
course.
back from the
especially
factories
with
and
like
stuff.
what you said, we're so busy with everything. It's really, I feel like doing the clothing is a job in itself, 24/7 job, isn't it? But
Is there anything else that you guys have in the pipes coming soon?
We're actually thinking about podcasts as well.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh,
maybe that's
awesome.
it might be handy if we had the help with that. Just to
Yeah.
fill out, because the reason we haven't started, it's not because we're procrastinating. It's just like, when will karma allow us to have that
Right.
hour to do it?
To do the
Yeah.
podcast. I mean, podcasts are amazing. I think they're a lot of fun. You have flexibility. You can be creative as much as you want. You can be yourselves, you know. Yeah, but that's awesome. That's super
Yeah.
exciting.
I know.
Also, I heard that you guys had something planned in Dubai, particularly where was there anything planned in Dubai? Any of your projects that are happening here, in particularly? Was there something?
We're in a lot of talks about a lot of different things, but nothing concrete yet.
Nothing concrete.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Family Fizz is here with us again. We are about to play a game now. We'll
Okay.
bring in Mia and the little one
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
they're available. We'll bring them in to play this game. All right. So we switched up. Mia came in the place of our mommy. Mia, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good?
Yeah.
I know you've been taking care of Karma. Was it challenging or was it okay? She was easy, right?
It's fine, yeah.
We haven't heard anything, to be fair. So we
That's
only
good
heard her
then.
laughing at some point. We heard her like
Yeah.
make a little screenshot. We're gonna play a game. It's called This or That. Okay. So basically, you choose an answer, and I'm gonna ask one of you. So one time you, and then one time the other one. All right.
What do we win?
You win a biscuit. I'm gonna have to ask. I'm gonna have to ask Karma for a biscuit. All right. All right. This or that. You're gonna be given two options. Choose one. We start with Mia. Wizards or superhero?
Superhero.
Superhero. Okay. Olympic medal or Academy Award?
Olympic medal.
Nice. Cookies or cake?
Cookies.
Cookies. I like cookies more too. Dead bug or live worm?
Live worm.
That's a challenging one. Amusement park or zoo?
Amusement park.
Nice. Boats or planes?
Boats.
Boats. He was struggling with that one. He was like,
Yeah.
I want both.
Yeah.
City or countryside?
City.
Okay. Strength or speed?
Strength.
Skydive or bungee jump?
Bungee jump.
Camping or hotels?
Camping.
That's awesome. Thank you
Hey.
guys. Did a great job. Thank you so much for being on the show. You guys were amazing. If you guys don't follow them, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Go follow the Family Fizz and follow us. If you're listening to the audio version only, check out the visuals on our YouTube channel, Uncut with S1. Mia, Darren, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
And
you.
we hope to see you soon again.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks. Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.